25 Most Mysterious Monuments on Earth. The most mysterious monuments on Earth wow visitors and continue to befuddle seasoned researchers. These monuments are some of the most spectacular destinations on Earth, providing a glimpse into the past of civilizations that rivaled the greatest in history. 25. Pyramid of Djoser, Egypt. Built during the 3rd dynasty of ancient Egypt, the Pyramid of Djoser is the oldest structure of its kind in the world. It's the original Egyptian pyramid that represented a thorough advance in the possibilities of engineering and architecture. 24. Persepolis, Iran. Once the capital during the Achaemenian dynasty of Iran, once known as Persia, Persepolis is now what is left of the once thriving city. Persepolis thrived for centuries up until 330 BC when Alexander the Great sacked the city. Today, the sprawling terrace complex tells a story over 2,000 years old. Once home to the King of Kings, visitors can wander by a series of royal palaces that stood upon an elevated terrace. At its height, there was never the need for fortified walls as 10,000 guards stood watch at any given time. 23. Hvalsey, Greenland. Built around the turn of the 14th century, Hvalsey's ruins stand on the southern coast of Greenland. Centuries before Columbus made his famous journey west, Norse Vikings had completed a similar trip building one of the original Christian churches on the North American continent. The church is at the center of the Norse movement that saw many migrate from Iceland to the fertile soils that existed steps from the stunning Greenlandic fjords. 22. Derinkuyu Underground City, Turkey. At its height, the Derinkuyu underground city in Turkey had a population in excess of 20,000 people. This thriving ancient subterranean city existed some 85 meters beneath the spectacular fairy chimneys of Cappadocia. Understandably hidden for centuries, Derinkuyu, once known as Elengubu, features 18 levels of tunnels that could hold a substantial number of people. It's the largest city of its kind and was in consistent use for thousands of years up until the 1920s. 21. Hegra, Saudi Arabia. As the first UNESCO World Heritage Site in Saudi Arabia, Hegra Akak Ma'in Salah holds high esteem. The archaeological site is the largest of its kind that once belonged to the Nabatean people outside of Petra. Like Petra, the civilization was cut into rock, this time sandstone. Discoveries included well-preserved monuments and tombs that unveil an ancient society at its zenith. 20. Newgrange, Ireland. According to Irish traditions, Newgrange is the home of the Dagda, a group of supernatural beings that once called ancient Ireland home. There is some truth to this, with Newgrange being linked to some of the country's earliest inhabitants. Yet the true builders of the awe-inspiring structure, which is the home of a spectacular light show each December, remains unknown. What is for certain, is that the tomb is so ancient that it predates the Egyptian pyramids by some 6 centuries. 19. Banteay Srei, Cambodia. Dedicated to the Hindu god, Shiva, Banteay Srei is a 10th-century temple not far from the famous Angkor Wat in Cambodia. Banteay Srei is around 25 kilometers away from the main core of Angkor temples and because of its diminutive size has created fascination among archaeologists. Compared to other regional temples, Banteay Srei was made much smaller, almost like a miniature version. Interestingly, it was the only major Angkor temple not to be commissioned by the reigning monarch. As the legend goes, it was instead constructed by female artisans with exquisite carvings being the proof. 18. Mohenjo Daro, Pakistan. Constructed around 2500 BC, Mohenjo Daro was once the largest city in the historic Indus Valley. Once a major worldwide city, Mohenjo Daro flourished until 1700 BC. The former metropolis remained undiscovered until the 1920s, more than 3,500 years later. Major excavation began in earnest, uncovering a marvelous Buddhist stupa, while a seemingly insignificant flint scraper gave researchers an idea of how old the city was. Impressively, Mohenjo Daro was designed with a grid layout, with public buildings such as public baths and assembly halls giving proof of a sophisticated society.